morning, and welcome to the midweek edition of your number one favorite breakfast show on television inside Nigeria, reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Webo, and we want to sincerely apologize for bringing the program a bit behind schedule because due to some technical hiccups that we were experiencing. However, we are here now, and as you can see, I'm alone in the studio. We'll just be reviewing some of the headline stories on some select newspapers this midweek. And of course, as usual, the program we always start off with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership has some interesting stories on its cover today, and of course, also inside pages. Now, let's look at what the headline story says. Leadership. Ahead of inauguration, 2,585 appointees aides race for job loss. Ahead of inauguration, 2,585 appointees aides brace for job loss. And of course, as usual with leadership, they have an interesting way of communicating or breaking down the headline story. Points at issue. The first point is APC stakeholders have intensified lobbying for appointments in Tinubu's government ahead of the inauguration. For them, it's time for political reward. Secondly, as expected in a transition period, thousands of political appointees and aides will lose their jobs. At the national level, 2,345 jobs in National Assembly, 240 in presidency will go. Thirdly, party members and supporters are engaged in serious patronage to see what they can grab at the end of the day. Others are shifting loyalty and realigning political allegiance. Four, proprietors of Abuja schools are also positioning themselves. They said they are prepared for likely surge in the enrollment of students that comes with transition. That is a follow-up pointers to note in the leading story on Leadership newspaper today, Wednesday, 10th May 2023. And above that headline story, we have 10th NANS APC defense zoning, size equity, inclusion. Above that, we have May 29, private jet owners worried over fan relocation notice. May 29, private jet owners worried over fan, that is Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, relocation notice. Above the masthead, we have 2023 Hajj Nakon for Nigerian Airlines signed elite parts. Soludo Aerofis Sanusi orders tax Tinubu on restructuring. Soludo Aerofis Sanusi orders tax Tinubu on restructuring. Of course, still on leadership, we have Osun governorship. Supreme Court dashes Oyetola's hope. Osun governorship, Supreme Court dashes Oyetola's hope. 16 killed in Akwa Ibom court clash. Tony Blair, two U.S. governors, orders for governors-elect induction. And of course, we have a picture of the Osun State Governor, Ademola Adeleke, flanked by party members and well-wishers as they celebrate the Supreme Court judgment, which affirmed his election yesterday. That's the picture you have on the cover of Leadership newspaper. And of course, we are moving to the page 3 of Leadership. That is where the editorial stand of the paper is. It is our stand, because the housing dilemma in Nigeria. The housing dilemma in Nigeria. We move over to the back page where you have the Wednesday column with Hanatu Musawa, rescued from Sudan, as the title of her column today. So for more stories on leadership and inside pages, just log on to the website www.leadership.ng. From leadership, we are moving on, and the next paper on our main is This Day. This Day newspaper says Adeleke survives as Supreme Court affirms his election. PDP Buhari Tinubu celebrates. Adeleke survives as Supreme Court affirms his election. PDP Buhari Tinubu celebrates. President urges citizens to team up with governor to develop state. Our govern with God's fear, Adeleke promises, says verdict historic. It's evident Bivas has come to stay, Atiku declares. That is the leading story on this day. We also have federal government approves acquisition of Abuja Disco by Transcorp Consortium. Federal government approves acquisition of Abuja Disco by Transcorp Consortium. INEC APC Tinubu may oppose live broadcast of proceedings. INEC APC Tinubu may oppose live broadcast of proceedings. And both the masthead of this day, we have Emefiele ROT 200 initiative boosted non-oil exports by 40% in 2022. $1.7 billion inflow recorded in first quarter of 2023. Emefiele ROT 200 initiative boosted by non-oil exports by 40% in 2022. $1.7 billion inflow recorded in first quarter of 2023. Threatens to sanction shipping companies engaging in smuggling. Apex Bank to begin publishing names of beneficiaries of RT 200 rebates. And just beneath that story above the masthead, we have banks demand tax clearance certificate on forest transactions. Banks demand tax clearance certificate on forest transactions. The story is on page 10 of this day newspaper. For more of the stories, you also log on to the website www.thisdaylive.com. And of course, there's an interesting story inside the page of this day. Senate presidency, North Central senators elect, right APC chair reject zoning. Opposition resists Tinubu's imposition, says Kawo. And of course, for more of the stories, just log on to their website. From this day, we'll move over to another paper, as you can see. And let's look at The Nation. The Nation is saying this morning, National Assembly, Akpabio, Abbas rally lawmakers for support. National Assembly, Akpabio, Abbas rally lawmakers for support. House Speaker, Deputy Speaker candidates visit President-elect. Senate President candidate widens support base. North Central senators protest zones neglect. National Assembly, Akpabio, Abbas rally lawmakers for support. House Speaker, Deputy Speaker candidates visit President-elect. Senate President candidate widens support base. North Central senators protest zones neglect. Of course, you also have the picture of President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu, flanked by Deputy Speaker candidate Benjamin Kalu and the Speaker candidate Tajuddin Abbas, and a member of the Joint Task Team spearheading the Abbas campaign when they visited the President-elect in Lagos yesterday. And still on the leading story, we have is only natural for one with the requisite qualification and gumption to occupy such an exalted office. Still on the Nation newspaper, we have Tribunal adjourns Atiku's motion on live telecast. As CBN says, monetary policy alone can't reset economy. Monetary policy alone can't reset economy. Non-oil sector critical to recovery. Let's look at the above masthead of The Nation. It says petrol subsidy pushing Nigeria to bankruptcy, Sanusi warns. Petrol subsidy pushing Nigeria to bankruptcy, Sanusi warns. El-Rufai, Buhari declined advice to end payments. El-Rufai says Buhari declined advice to end payments. Buhari Tinubu congratulates Adeleke, Supreme Court affirms victory. For more stories on The Nation, apart from the cover stories, they have other interesting stories as well in the inside pages. Just log on to the website www.thenationonlineng.net. From The Nation, we move over to another paper we have just for review. Let's have The Punch. The Punch says this morning, presidential poll, tribunal to consider PDP Labour Party's live broadcast request. Presidential poll, tribunal to consider PDP Labour Party's live broadcast request. Broadcasting proceedings live is of national importance. Articles legal team, Labour Party insists. Justice Samani promises PD treatment of demand. APC vows appropriate response. Presidential poll, tribunal to consider PDP Labour Party's live broadcast request. Broadcasting proceedings live is of national importance. Articles legal team, Labour Party insists. Justice Samani promises speedy treatment of demand. APC vows appropriate response. Above the masthead, we have Speaker, 5 aggrieved aspirants team up against Abbas. It is President-elect candidate and President-elect and the APC National Working Committee's consensus candidates. Speaker, 5 aggrieved aspirants team up against Abbas. Otedola fumes over Transcorp deal. Elumelu keeps mum. Otedola fumes over Transcorp deal. Elumelu keeps mum. Over $200 billion national assets lost to terrorism, federal government. Over $200 billion national assets lost to terrorism. Now let's go down just beneath the leading story on the presidential poll. We have the pictures of the Osun State Governor, Adeleke, who was affirmed, whose victory was affirmed by Supreme Court yesterday. We have him celebrating and the supporters in the state also jubilating with flag of PDP. Final victory, Buhari Tinubu congratulates Adeleke, supporters jubilate. 15 die in Sokoto boat accident, 25 missing. Plateau varsity workers tackle along over salary arrears. Federal government orders private jets removal from Abuja airport. That is the stories on the leading the Nation, the Punch newspaper today, Wednesday, May 10, 2023. For more on the story, just log on to the website www.punchng.com. That is it for the Punch newspaper. From the Punch, we move over to the Guardian. The Guardian has a different story on its cover, talking about business story. It says amid 168% tariff hike in 8 years, Nigerians pay premium for unavailable electricity. Amid 168% tariff hike in 8 years, Nigerians pay premium for unavailable electricity. This story is on page 4. And of course, obviously, this is an investigation story be carried out by the paper. Amid 168% tariff hike in 8 years, Nigerians pay premium for unavailable electricity. It's a story worth reading because Nigeria has been employed in darkness for most of these 8 years. Yet tariff keeps getting being increased by the authorities. Now we have a picture of Osun State Governor there, Adeleke, goes in his usual trademark. 2 fingers raised to his face. Beavers to the rescue. Supreme Court affirms Adeleke, Osun Governor. Beavers to the rescue. Supreme Court affirms Adeleke, Osun Governor. The trending story on all the papers yesterday because tension has been high when it was announced that Supreme Court will be giving judgment over the case yesterday. And the Supreme Court has affirmed Adeleke as a Osun State Governor. Non-oil exporters receive 144 billion naira rebate in 14 months. Non-oil exporters receive 144 billion naira rebates in 14 months. Concerns over electricity generation as terrorists eye national infrastructure. Concerns over electricity generation as terrorists eye national infrastructure. Of course, is another story. Is a follow-up to the headline story on the Guardian. We have outrage over abduction, forceful conversion of 14-year-old Esther to Islam in Kaduna. Outrage over adoption, forceful conversion of 14-year-old Esther to Islam in Kaduna. That is a story that is making the cover of the Guardian today. Speakership reps adjourn amid alleged rule forgery in favor of Abbas. Speakership reps adjourn amid alleged rule forgery in favor of Abbas. You can log on to the website to read more on the story. And the next paper for review is Vanguard. Vanguard says 10th National Assembly leadership. Crisis rocks APC over zoning of Senate President Speaker. 10th National Assembly leadership. Crisis rocks APC over zoning of Senate President Speaker. National Working Committee divided over micro-zoning of positions. North Central insists on speakership slot. Northwest seeks Senate presidency. 18 North Central senators elect kick. National Working Committee divided. Oyebanji, Ekiti senators elect back Akpabio. Southeast APC group hails party's decision. Baja's men go after members elect for signatures. Freshers form New Dawn movement. As Wase, Ado Doguwa, others meet. NAS members elect determine their leaders, PDP, Labour Party. New rules favoring open balloting raises dust. I'll take that again. 10th National Assembly leadership. Crisis rocks APC over zoning of Senate President Speaker. NWC divided over micro-zoning of positions. North Central insists on speakership slot. Northwest seeks Senate presidency. 18 North Central senators elect kick. NWC divided. Oyebanji, Ekiti senators elect back Akpabio. Southeast APC group hails party's decision. Baja's men go after members elect for signatures. Freshers form New Dawn movement. As was said, Ado Doguwa, others meet. National Assembly members elect will determine their leaders, PDP, Labour Party. New rules favoring open balloting raises dust. That's the story you have on the cover of Vanguard today, Wednesday, May 10, 2023. And above let's take the stories about the masthead first. We have RT 200, repatriation of export proceeds rise 40% to $5.6 billion. Emefiele. Telcos write National Assembly, demand flag down of new NITDA bill. Presidential inauguration, federal government orders airlines to relocate planes from Abuja terminal. Supreme Court affirms Adeleke duly elected Osun governor. We move down below the picture on the masthead. We have Tinubu seeks dismissal of APM's petition, says it lacks merit. Seeks time to react to Atiku's request for live coverage. Court adjourns hearing till Thursday. Buhari commissions AFAM 3 power plants. Military onslaught, terrorists flee Zamfara, invade Katsina villages. Again, herdsmen storm Benue communities, kill 3, injure many. Again, herdsmen storm Benue communities, kill 3, injure many. That's the stories you have on The Guardian this Wednesday, May 10, 2023. For more stories on The Guardian, just log on to the website www.vanguardngr.com. Yes, well, viewers, this is where we come to the end of today's paper review. As I was just still in the studio and I just had to take some news making the rounds this Wednesday, May 10, 2023. My name is Winifred Ugbebo. Don't forget, same time, same station. Tomorrow is another day. Until I come your way again, stay blessed. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.